this thing on? Because it's getting ready to be on.
Hey everybody and welcome to Bell Ringer. My name is Greg. Your guest name today are Beau and Lindsay Riggs. They started a local lifestyle blog, Buffalovebirds, a handful of years ago, and it's really taken off since. As many of you know, we recently launched our talent attraction initiative, Be in Buffalo, and Beau and Lindsay's story and their website are great examples of all the great things to do in Buffalo and why it's great to live in Buffalo right now. Like we like to say, there's never been a better time to be in Buffalo and to be listening to this podcast. So thank you very much, and that's it. So let's start off. Tell us a little bit about Buffalovebirds and how you guys started.
I think that's all you, since it was your idea.
My cue? Okay. Well, Buffalovebirds, I guess, originated from when I was one of the first tenants that moved into the Hotel Lafayette, which seems so long ago now. What's that, 6 or 7 years ago now?
7, maybe 8?
Jeez,
Almost
okay.
8.
But anyways, I moved in there, and Lindsay and I were first newly dating. So I guess we were both boomerangs. So we were both sort of back in the Buffalo area, growing up outside of Buffalo in the Niagara County region. So I guess we were going out a lot. We were exploring. We were always up to either a lunch place or dinner or music venue. And our family, friends were sort of, constantly sort of, it was that bad rap that, the city, downtown Buffalo sort of had. And we felt like we were always, on the defensive of, yes, there is parking, and yes, there's places to walk, and yes, there's somewhere you can put your stroller. So finally, I just sort of had, enough of it. And I was like, we're going out all the time. We're pretty active. We go to music events. Like, why aren't we writing about this? Or why aren't we just she's a social media expert. So I'm like, why aren't we just, sort of telling our story a little bit more? And then I guess that was how it was, created.
Launched the blog, and then did it start with like family and friends reading it? And I know obviously it's grown a lot since.
Yeah, it started mainly just with our family and friends, mainly, well, what we say up north in Niagara County, because, it's a far drive to get down to Buffalo, and people, had an old concept of the area, and it just started with, old teachers that we had, and
right.
family members, and even some friends from outside of the Buffalo area that weren't totally sure what was going on right now, because it was the pickup of the Renaissance here. So it started like that, and then, I don't know, it just kind of took off, and it's been growing ever since. And I think with social media developing, it's just different every year, and it gets bigger.
Yeah. So you started the blog when you guys were just dating and, going out all the time. Now you're married with 2 kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's kind of like interesting that the blog has followed you through all those life changes. How have you seen, obviously not only your lives change, but how has Buffalo grown with you, or you grown into Buffalo, I guess?
I think we grew into Buffalo because we, started downtown and really, explored not only the city center, but Elmwood Village and South Buffalo and Allentown, everything that kind of encompasses what you would consider to be Buffalo. And as we transitioned into being married and then ultimately having a family, we ended up in Orchard Park, which is only 15 minutes from downtown. And we wanted to stay close to the city because of that reason. We love it so much down here.
I kind of don't agree with you.
No, you don't? How do you think about it?
I think Buffalo sort of transitioned almost like the same time we were transitioning into a family, and they became very, family friendly.
Mm-hmm.
One example that I like to use is just look at like Chippewa and look at, what like Jay did with Soho.
Mm-hmm.
True. Soho was Soho, and then I'm pretty sure he had kids, and sort of things were transitioning, and it became Soho Burger Bar.
Right.
Where, yes, there's still a nightlife, but there's now more of a focus on a family dinner and a place to go for lunch during the day as well. And also, Harbor Center sort of started booming as we created a family as well, and everything was, bring your strollers, bring your kids. It's bumping down here. So I think it was just kind of coincidence that Buffalo sort of, I think, transitioned as we were having kids as well.
Right. Right. Kind of that like perfect growth together. Exactly. So why do you guys, we recently launched our new talent attraction brand, Be in Buffalo, and you guys are in the relocation guide featured. So first of all, thank you for that.
Thank you.
So like, I mean, it's such a broad question, but why do you love Buffalo? You know, like what is it about this place that just always makes you guys like passionate to write about it and passionate to get out into the community and do different things, all that kind of stuff?
Well, for me, it's the people. I feel like we all say that, right? It's.
I
mean,
ask a lot of
honestly.
people that question on this podcast, and it always comes back to that.
Oh, yeah, because you can build relationships and have open conversations with people, and I don't know, everyone is so passionate about, you know, uplifting all of our neighborhoods here and each other. So for me, it's the people and kind of connecting, you know, with them, and that's what, you know, the drive is for me, and seeing how people are creating and entrepreneurship and businesses opening and learning about their stories too.
Right.
For me, I mean, it is the people, and I just think that there's the pride there. There's so many, you know, I know there's small businesses and sort of entrepreneurs and people that, you know, put their pride into their business, and I think there's something really great and special about, you know, being on a name-to-name basis with, you know, the local barista, and, you know, being on a name-to-name basis when you're, you know, popping in a restaurant, and it's like, oh, hey, Lindsay and Beau, and like, I know it seems corny, but like that, you know, that means a lot, and that, you know, really sits well with me and is powerful, especially, you know, being, you know, going to school and living in some of the, you know, major cities. You know, you're a number, you know, and there's a line out the door, and, you know, that's great and everything, and we, but I think just, I don't know, just the name is always just, you know, feels great, you know, when you can walk into the grocery store and like
Right.
the cashier like remembers your name.
Right. Yeah, it is important. That's a lot of the message that we're trying to tell people too. Not only that, you know, it's such a friendly place, but that when somebody moves here for a job opportunity, they can like make an impact because you're not one of some huge astronomical number. You know, everybody's kind of like working to make Buffalo better, and there's room to make an impact here.
Right.
Yeah, at work we use sort of another little, I have all these corny lines, but like, you know, we're small enough but big enough. And
Right.
I feel like Buffalo is the same way. They're a small little community town, but they're big enough where they have the same capabilities, same things, same options as these major cities. And if you do want to do some traveling or vacationing, I mean, you have some of the greatest spots, you know, either you can drive to or short little flights to hop over to.
Yeah, and our president and CEO Tom always calls us the Midwest of the Northeast, because we have that like fast pace of business where you can get things done, but friendly people, and somebody knows your name when you walk into the coffee shop.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is kind of a cool balance that we have.
I like that.
You're gonna use that line?
Yes. I know your name, but we need to get this done now.
That is kind of how we are.
So what are some of your favorite things to do in Buffalo for someone, say, that recently moved here? What would you recommend?
Oh, jeez.
Well, I guess that would be a twofold, right? Because it would be right now as a family with kids. You know, if you're a family moving in, and we actually get a lot of families that reach out to us that have come into the area, and we tell them obviously our museums, of course, because we have world-renowned, you know, grade A class museums.
Right.
But also the food and the cuisine here is insane.
Yeah.
You know, what I mean, besides just the wing, of course, but we have, you know, this amazing cuisine. I blame it on our waistline sometimes, but it's so good and so unique to the area. You step outside the region and they don't do it right. But, you know, the museums and the food and the neighborhoods, I think, you know, for the family part of it,
Yeah.
what we explain.
I always encourage people to just go for a first time is just have a simple experience. Is find a village, whether that's Elmwood, whether that's Chippewa, whether that's Hurdle, and just walk down it.
Right.
And just pop into every little store, because every little village that we have now has a great little bakery, or has a great little restaurant, has a great little retail shop, and you know, I think that's a good place to start, and then we'll grow from there. And I still to this day, I mean, with the family, there's nothing to do on a Saturday. Okay, well, Elmwood Village. We'll start at one end and see what happens.
Right. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
I interviewed like dozens of people for the new brand that had all relocated to Buffalo. Every single person said the food. It's like crazy. And they've all come from, New York City and LA and Chicago and all these like major markets, but everybody loves the food here. It's crazy.
We're lucky.
What are your favorite restaurants in Buffalo?
Oh no. It's our favorite worst question because it changes. Oh, Debutsu, obviously. It's one of our top.
There's going to be a lot of these type of questions coming up, so just prepare yourself.
Casa Azul, Las Puertas,
Cooney's.
Cooney's. Oh, Cooney's is a classic. Oh my gosh, who else are we like totally in love with right now? It's so hard because we love so many places. Marble and Rye.
Marble and Rye.
Ooh.
I love.
Now it's not downtown, but a short drive from downtown in Hamburg is the Grange. The Grange is like our
couple Hamburg people in the office.
Oh yeah.
Talk about the Grange almost daily.
We love it.
I'm at the Grange a lot.
Maybe the answer is the Grange, but what's your favorite brunch spot?
Oh, jeez.
The Grange. And Public. We really love Public espresso.
I love Public for
It's in your old building.
Many reasons.
just anything. And those guys are they're great people too. Again, like that, name, and it's just fun to, go into a place and, watch them grow. And again, we were
all
at the
grew up
Hotel
together.
Lafayette when they were, just that little, at the lobby.
Right.
So seeing what those guys are doing is great. But no, I love Public. I like Acropolis.
Yep.
I love the Grange.
Teuton.
Ooh,
Teuton.
Teuton.
That's one of our favorites.
Yes.
Yeah. It's dangerous.
I mean,
In a
we're
good
just
way.
we're not a favorite. We're like top 5 people.
Yeah.
Of like every category.
Rotate.
Mount Rushmore. Top few bars that you like to go to.
Oh my gosh.
We're not big drinkers.
Yeah. Is it because we're old?
We're old. I don't know.
That's hard too because a lot of those restaurants will transition into
Right.
a nightlife style or like okay, let's hang out here and get a few drinks. So a lot of those places transition and kind of operate the same way as
The
how
new
we use them.
Resurgence is
Yeah.
really cool.
It's gorgeous.
We really enjoy hanging out at Riverworks.
Yeah.
Just the whole vibe there is great.
Yeah, because that's something for everyone. You can be there as just with friends. You can be there as on a date. You can be there as a family. We tend to find the spots where it's
And Thin Man has that really cool rooftop sort of area you can hang out.
open. Yeah.
Right. Those are good picks. I just kind of thought of this, but not only did Buffalo become like really family friendly as you grew with the blog, but you kind of started it as like the renaissance of Buffalo started. So a lot of these places you were naming might not have even been open when you started. Like how was that journey from starting in such a different Buffalo than what we sit in today,
Well, we always have our classics, right? We always have our chefs, which we love. Like just the classics that have been here for years and years and years that you always love and you do go to and you support and you appreciate. And then
we've been lucky enough too with the blog is we sort of has given us the opportunity to meet some of the owners and the chefs and the brains behind these great creations. So then it's sort of like we just start following them.
right. We're like, ooh, we love you.
What's he opening up now?
Right.
But downtown, I mean, especially, there's always something new little popping up, like for example, like I forgot to mention like Ballyhoo. I mean, there's a newer place that wasn't there when we first lived in downtown, and there's a good cocktail if you want to have a nice. It's hidden and it's a little off the beaten path. That's one of the like jokes we always joke of Buffalo too. Is Ballyhoo's a great example. Like there is a great little niche, probably by far one of the top places you could go. I would say in all of New York to get a great cocktail. But for people outside of Buffalo, like, they just need to know it's there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's there. You just need a little bit of some push on where to look.
Just gotta find it.
Right.
Yeah. Ask someone on the street and they'll tell you. Because we're all friendly, right?
Or follow your blog.
Right. There you go.
Top couple like selfie spots. Obviously, you take a lot of photography for the blog and Instagram feed. What are some of your favorite public art spots since that's kind of booming in Buffalo?
Anything that Albright Knox has curated and invested in with the local and national and international artists. I mean, for me, I think it's gorgeous. I think it's exciting that they have invested in the region and especially the downtown area, even areas where you wouldn't think to go. I mean, we have these beautiful murals popping up everywhere. I think it's brilliant that they've started that.
Right.
Hurdle be a good one. I mean, you can crank out a few
Yeah.
top selfie spots by just walking down Hurdle.
Yeah. And when Shark Girl gets all polished up again.
Oh, yeah.
Gets her
Shark, you
makeover.
gotta do Shark Girl. She's on a hiatus. She's getting a spa treatment right now.
Okay.
She'll be back.
So we talked a lot about, favorite spots to go, but you guys started the blog living downtown at the Hotel Lafayette, now in Orchard Park. I think one of the things people are surprised by when they move to Buffalo is just like the easy commute and things like that. Just talk a little bit about that and how it just like
I'll
the
nail
general
that one
quality.
for
Oh yeah, Bo can answer.
I go to a decent amount of Sabres games. And
Are you going tonight?
I'm not going tonight. You got tickets?
I'm going.
Oh.
Tickets for me.
But my father-in-law tends to go with me, and we leave. When's the game start? 7:30, I think.
Yeah.
Generally.
7 or 7:30.
7 or 7:30, and we can leave my house in Orchard Park. If the game starts at 7:30, I think we left once at 7:10, and we parked, got in our seats, and we're there by time the game started. By the time the puck dropped. So, I mean, and I lived in Los Angeles for college, so I guess a little commute doesn't really bother me. I mean, if you wanted a loaf of bread in LA, like, you just better get ready for parking out an hour and a half to 2 hours at a time.
Right.
But Buffalo, what's great is that you can get basically anywhere, even if it's one end of Western New York to another in 20, 30 minutes.
Right.
But getting downtown from the burbs, depending on where you are, is anywhere from 15 to 22 minutes, which I don't know, is what I really, really like about living in the South Towns, because you can also get creative. You can take the Skyway, and you can take the 90. So, I don't know, you get there quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you bring up the Sabres game. It's actually a good transition to the next topic. One of the points we're always selling is like the affordability of Buffalo and Sabres tickets compared to a ticket to a game in some major markets elsewhere are so minimal compared. Like, you can actually afford to go to a game easily, and it's not just that. It's like really everything. So I know a lot of people that recently moved here have like reached out to you guys. Have you heard anything about that, or are people surprised by that?
So people are surprised at the affordability of housing, whether it's if they're renting a home or buying a home. I mean, you kind of got to look, and depends on the market, but
Right.
a lot of people are like, oh, I can actually afford to live here and still have a lifestyle that, I wanted in comparison, or it's better than where I was in X city, that might have been a little bit bigger. We hear that a lot.
Well, I had an at-length conversation with a couple in New York City, the other day. I mean, and I don't know, I'm just blunt about it. I mean, if you're going to make the same money you're making in New York City and you come here to Buffalo, I mean, you're going to live like a king.
Right.
It's that simple. I mean, yes, there's different areas of Buffalo now where real estate's really booming, but, if you're coming from some of these other major cities, you're not making a rent payment, you're making a mortgage payment, and you're building equity into a house, and then, you're living a great life. You're getting a car, maybe two. School districts are phenomenal. So, I don't know. I think it's a good move.
Right. And that leads us to my last main question. We started this campaign, and or trying to talk to expats of Buffalo, but also people that have never been here. You guys are great ambassadors for the region. What would your main message be for Buffalo? What's your log line of our region, our city?
Oh, jeez. These are always so hard because I'm like, but we have 7. Why has it got to be 1?
I always love that postcard that says Buffalo hates you too.
If you don't love us, then.
The Oxford pennant shirt, keep Buffalo a secret.
Yes, right?
Keep Buffalo secret. That's another good one.
We're just taking lines from everyone else, really.
I mean, it's a friendly. I think your CEO really, nailed it. I mean, it's a tough city of grinders, people that are really working hard, and the momentum and the work ethic and the fast pace is there. But somehow Buffalo magically keeps it a small town, small community, name-to-name basis, where
perfect.
people will hop out of their car and help you.
Perfect. That's a great summary. We're going to end there, but we have a few hard-hitting blizzard round questions for you.
Okay.
Blizzard round.
Blizzard round.
Is that like a pun also? Like blizzard?
Yeah, for sure. That's how creative I am, guys. We'll go Lindsay and then Beau.
Okay.
If you were a flavor of ice cream, what would you be?
Fireball. Is that what you would name me? Fireball.
Sure. Perry's Fireball.
Perry's Fireball. Always Perry's.
Beau, how about you?
Oh, you stole mine? That's your answer?
Oh, you're going to both be?
Well, you like Fireball. If I was to be named...
Rocky Road. I'd
Yeah.
be Rocky Road.
True.
All right.
I've been on a scenic route my whole life, so...
Book or TV show that you'd recommend?
Ooh. What are we watching right now?
I got a book.
You got a book. Go.
Can't Hurt Me. David Goggins. Change Your Life.
All right.
Yeah, that's true. What are we watching? What do we recommend?
I fall asleep in 10 minutes.
Parent life.
We got one. If you don't have anything, we could pass.
She's watching The Ghost Whisperer right now.
Listen,
which is
but that's old. That's
old, so that's why I fall asleep in 10 minutes.
All right. Text or phone call?
It depends. For me, I guess it's... I'm going to sound so young. Text. Because I have 1,000 things going on. Sometimes it's just easier.
I am an old soul stuck in a young body, so call me, please.
Okay. Bills or Sabres?
Bills.
Bills.
Hiking or skiing?
Hiking.
And last question, most important, chicken wings, drumstick or flat?
Drumstick.
Oh, flat.
You guys are
I
made for each
know.
other.
Yeah, but that means we can share.
Exactly.
We don't have to fight.
Thank you guys very much for coming on.
Thanks.
Thank
guys.
you.
Bell Ringer is a podcast by Invest Buffalo Niagara, the region's privately funded, nonprofit marketing and economic development organization. Please rate this podcast, follow our social media channels, and read our blog at buffaloniagara.org for the best of Buffalo Niagara. Come grow your business with us.